Welcome back to Antietam. So I need to do a little recant here from the intro video to this. So what we've got here is the decision games Antietam, but I'm using alternate counters and an alternate map. I think this was kind of the original stuff that Jerry had configured many moons ago. All brigades and I guess batteries or gun battalions, whatever you want to call them, and leaders. Leaders have a command value for activation or for to be placed into command, which it took me a little while to understand the process. Even got on the phone with Jerry just to get it all straightened out so that I understood how the command works. Because you'll notice that, well, you can't see them through here, but all the Union commanders all carry, or all the corps commanders, like let's look at Burnside here, they only carry a command value of 1, which means he can put into command one of his divisions in one unit. All right. But he has to be put into command by McClellan, which if you look here, you'll see that McClellan only has a 1. All right. And has to be within a range, I think it's like 6 hexes. So McClellan can automatically put one corps commander into command, and well, I don't think he can do a unit, but so if he puts Hooker in command, Hooker's only got a command value of 1. Hooker can put one of his divisions into command and then 1 unit. All right. So it took me a little while to understand. So what that does is that sort of shows you, I don't want to say quite the ineptitude of the Union officers at this time, but the caution of McClellan, because there's no way you're going to get all this stuff attacking. Now, you can roll a dice, 6-sided dice, against the command value of a commander to put him into command. Well, they're all 1s, so you got to roll pretty much a 1 to get them into command. And then he can still only put into command the number of a division or the number of his subordinate commanders that's equal to his command value, which, like I say, they're all 1s. Whereas on the Confederate side, Lee is a 3, Jackson's a 3, and Longstreet's a 2. So they have quite the more advantage. Plus, this is kind of like, like Gettysburg, the interior lines for the Union. Well, Antietam's kind of the interior lines for the Confederacy, the Army of Northern Virginia. And Antietam was one of those unique fights where Jackson and Longstreet didn't necessarily have to ask one or the other, give me your troops, pull these guys up here. It was just they grabbed them and took them as they saw fit because they were completely outnumbered in this fight around Sharpsburg. So, all right, so that's the basic of command. Now, how does this work? Because you're looking and you say, well, hey, actually, how are all those units moving? Well, the units can move. They just can't go into an enemy zone of control if they're not in command. So there's where your fight stops. Now, which will still allow you to have cannon fire going on, which cannon fire is not, you're still going to shoot at odds from the cannon strength to the defender strength. And unless you get like a massive cannon shooting at 1 hex, you're going to get just maybe a retreat, okay? All right. Now, if let's say a unit is out of command and it's their movement phase, if they're out of command, they can move away. Matter of fact, they're supposed to move away. If they can't, they stay in that zone of control. Well, guess what? If you're in an enemy zone of control, when the combat phase comes up, you have to attack any enemies that you're in their zone of control of. So that kind of add a unique flavor to the game here, which makes you fight. You're going to have to fight. You got to get in there, and you probably have to take some bad odds in some of these combats. So now what I've done is I played 3 turns. Okay, start at 6 a.m. on the 17th of September, and everybody is moved. Even the cavalry's moving down here, which you can't see off screen. Burnside and his boys over here with Porter. They're across the middle bridge. All right, nobody's messed with the lower bridge yet, but these guys can't get into command to attack here. And every turn I try to roll for Porter to see if Porter can activate or if he can go into command, or to see if Burnside can go into command. Like I said, trying to roll a 1's tough. All right, so most of the fighting's been up here. Now what happens is the Union will attack, and they have much larger brigades, and they good part of the time will push a Confederate stack back. But then what happens is you can only advance 1 unit, 1 combat unit. So the combat unit advances in there. Well, guess what happened? He advances in there. Now he's got 3 Confederates that are going to attack him back on the next turn. So it's kind of a push me, pull me type fight. But not bad. okay, because the fighting was tough up in here, coming through the cornfield and everything. Um, so yeah, the system is not, I guess it comes out of the old blue and gray, so to speak. I am playing with some of the advanced rules in here with reorganization, and when a unit takes a loss, like because there's no step losses on your combat chart, but there's eliminated. What I'm doing is when you get an elimination or you have to eliminate something, if the unit has a reduced side, I'll flip it to its reduced side, which is one of the suggested optional rules. And then when the reduced side gets eliminated, you put them over in a box for recoverable, okay? And if you recover them, they come back in on the reduced side. And if they get eliminated again, then they become permanently eliminated. So I don't know how drastic the number of eliminated brigades are going to go off the map, which, having the reduced side on them, I think that works well with this, because I don't know personally of any entire brigades that were completely wiped out to the last man. So, we'll see how that progresses. The artillery can shoot over top. They just can't shoot over top of woods or over top of the city hex. I'm sure elevation has something to do with this too. But for instance, like D.H. Hill's, the regiment or the brigade underneath him, if he attacks right there, these guns, as long as there's nothing interfering, which I think actually there's woods here. Yeah. But if there was no woods and that was clear, he could shoot over top of the infantry to add his firepower to the attack, or he could just do it as a bombard. If artillery does it as a bombard, they don't suffer any negative results to the attacker, but the defender would, okay? Leaders other than command, I haven't had anything where they serve any purpose yet for combat or anything. I might need to just sort of browse back through those rules. I don't remember reading any. But reinforcements in this game, 6 corps is on lockdown till a certain turn. I got to go look. And then, of course, A.P. Hill will come in back down here from Harper's Ferry sometime during the game to save the day. And there's a special rule for A.P. Hill that whenever he attacks, whenever any of his units attack in their first, I think it's in their first attacks, any other units or any other attacks that are adjacent or any other units that are adjacent that are attacking to one of A.P. Hill's brigades will get like a 1 column shift to the right. When I get to that point, I'll readdress that rule. Simple combat chart. You got terrain effects, and you got, I'm sure we all remember these simple type of combat charts: retreats, eliminateds, and exchanges. Now, also in this game here, instead of doing a complete wipeout with an exchange, I'm doing the same thing where I use reduced sides for in the exchange. We'll see how that plays out. It might make the game, I think, a lot more interesting, where you're just not bumping units off the map left and right to do this. Because, like I say, the Union brigades, you got a lot of 7s and 6s and 5s, and the Confederates have a lot of 5s, 3s, 4s, and 2s, and a 6 here and there. So we'll see how that goes. It was pointed out to me, it's a little too late now, but I must have deployed Anderson's regiment or brigade in the wrong location at the start. Well, I'm 3 turns in now, but he's with his command. He's in the area of his command, so we're just going to continue on from there. And he hasn't fought anybody yet anyhow, but it was Axel that caught that for me. I appreciate that. I think once we're done doing this, I think the next step will be to do the last one of the games from the last full measure. Maybe Antietam again. I need to print off the maps for last full measure, and those are completely part of Ulan Games' system. Not the Decision Games version, but his sort of upgraded and a little more advanced system, which will include all those counters I have over there in that box. So I'm borrowing in-command counters, which I'm really not using, because I realize you put somebody in command, you move them, okay, and do your thing. So if he's in command, you can attack with him. You can get in there and attack. And then, of course, when I get around to the out-of-command ones, you can't move into a zone of control, so you don't have to worry about that. Objectives for the game: kill things, pretty much. Get points for that. And then I think Sharpsburg, there's so many hexes in Sharpsburg that if you own, it's like 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that, you get victory points for that. So, all right, we're going to keep on with this fight. Once again, this is the Antietam Campaign, which you can get in the blue and gray box from Decision Games if you can find one. But I'm playing it, once again, I'm playing that with those rules, but I'm using an alternate map and alternate counters for this. So, and not bad. Like I said, I blew through. You go through the turns pretty quick here. So I've already blown through 3 turns, and we're going to see if we can't knock out some more. All right, so once again, Antietam Campaign. and let's get after it some more. All right, talk to y'all soon.